What are you doing?
I'm just drawing a picture.
This isn't another one of your open circuit diagrams, is it?
No. It's a picture of a Catalan man carrying a Turkish woman.
What?
Well, she's not happy about it, obviously.
Why? Why are you drawing that?
Well, I found references to the Turks in a couple of Catalan and Spanish expressions, which is not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
That is incredibly specific.
Yeah, I'm also working on a design to combine Catalan and Turkish. I'll show you when it's finished. First, let me explain. There's a curious expression which exists in Catalan, agafar una turca, or in Spanish, coger una turca, which translates into English literally as pick up a Turkish girl, or something rather more vulgar if you're in Latin America. That said, I think it's pretty heavily implied and pretty widely understood that something vulgar is going to happen when the Turkish woman is picked up. The idiomatic meaning of this expression refers, somewhat evocatively, to the act of getting completely blind drunk on alcohol. So one might speculate over the story behind this expression. It kind of inspires a range of salacious conjectures as to what it must be like to spend the night, have a fling, or pursue a relationship with a Turkish woman. Perhaps it's a dizzying, intoxicating rush of passion, joy, and uninhibited emotion, followed by an inevitable tumbling crash of one of the worst pounding headaches of your life. Or maybe it's a hit to the head that, if taken too fast, leaves one dazed and confused, unable to stand or even talk, unable to do anything but crawl into a corner to sleep and hope it all goes away. Or, according to the ideas of some, maybe seducing a Turkish girl is as easy as getting drunk on 1 2-minute glasses of ratafia. Setting aside the antiquated, but unfortunately still rather prevalent, stereotypes of femininity and Middle Eastern cultures, many of which, admittedly, I am totally going to make use of in this video, the actual origin of the phrase has a few potential stories, none of which have anything to do with Turkish women. First of all, it's important to point out that in the Catalan language, as in several Romance languages, a noun can be substituted by an adjective that appropriately describes it. If the context is clear enough, you don't need to use a noun at all. Let's take an example of 2 cats, one thin, el gat prim, and one fat, el gat gros. You could say el gat prim menja menys que el gros, without having to say el gat gros. Days or maybe even weeks later, you could say to your friend, el gros s'ha menjat el prim, without saying the word cat at all, because it's obvious you're talking about the cats. But that might be because you talk about your damn cat so often that your friend knows you wouldn't be talking about anything else. Similarly, you can refer to people by an attribute, la guapa, la yetcha, or la basha, without needing to say la dona guapa, la dona yetcha, or la dona basha.
You can do this in English too, though, right?
Kind of, but it works in a slightly different way. If someone said the short, it would probably refer to a whole social demographic group of people who are short. But still, we would usually just say short people.
We prefer height impaired, to be honest.
This also extends to nationalities, such as la Filipina, la Colombiana, or la Inglesa. As such, over time, and with the loss of context, una turca in the phrase comes to be understood as a Turkish woman. The truth is, though, the original substituted noun was not donna, rather borrachera, meaning drunkenness. The phrase actually refers to getting a Turkish drunkenness, or getting drunk like a Turk. So one claim as to why this expression came about was by Joaquin Bastos. Bastos, a writer from the 19th century, was a researcher of traditions, a scholar in literature, folklore, and proverbs, and authored La Sabiduría de las Naciones, The Wisdom of the Nations, in which he explored the meanings and origins of sayings and idioms in the Spanish language. Bastos outlines that, owing to the prohibition of alcohol in Islam, Turks, when given the opportunity to infringe this prohibition, and having not built up a tolerance or awareness of their own limits, were said to have a tendency to indulge with such excess and exaggeration that they lost control completely. Whether this is less or more offensive than the other meaning is debatable. Another, less derogatory explanation of the origin ties it not to the effects of alcohol but the manner of consumption. Historically, it was customary to add water to wine to make it last longer. This was a practice known as christening the wine. This is actually still fairly common in Catalan households in which people may add still or carbonated water to a glass of wine. Wine that wasn't christened came to be known as Turkish wine because, as an Islamic state, they naturally didn't hold this Christian tradition. As such, this pure wine had a much stronger alcohol content and inebriated much quicker, creating the fast and hard-hitting Turkish drunkenness we talked about earlier. This isn't the only expression in Catalan making references to Turks. There's another expression with a couple of possible origins, el cap de Turc, la cabeza de Turco, the head of the Turk.
Okay, wait. Stop there. Time out. You've already used some pretty reductive and generalizing stereotypes in this video, and you do not want the internet coming after you for racism as well. So...
average Turkish male face composition. Let's have a look. Oh geez, this guy is pretty handsome. Okay, let's choose him. Alright, let's make a quick sketch and... close enough. The expression head of the Turk traces way back to the Crusades of the 11th to 13th centuries, when the Latin Church fought against the Muslims to conquer the Holy Land. In these wars, killing a Muslim was seen as a commendable, heroic, and even holy honor. Of course, these could be Arabs, Persians, or Egyptians, but it's essentially by geographical bad luck that the Turks became the named representative of all Muslims in the eyes of the Crusaders. This is really making me feel uncomfortable about playing the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, to be honest.
Olduğun yerde kal seni lanet suçlu.
Soldiers who achieved this displayed their triumph by cutting off the head of the victim and attaching it to the end of a spear, or even the front of a ship, lauding their trophy for all to see. The soldiers declared publicly all of the evil doings and atrocities the late Turk had supposedly been responsible for, indulging and embellishing in slander to excess, attributing blame to the Turk for acts they never had anything to do with, in order to rouse collective animosity towards the enemy. For that reason, anyone who's been falsely accused, used as a scapegoat by a party who wants to divert attention from themselves or someone else, or been subject to character assassination in an attempt to undermine public reputation, may be denominated by defenders as the head of the Turk. So, how do you pick up a Turkish girl? Well, Turkish people in general are pretty friendly, and they especially enjoy sharing their culture with foreigners. And a large part of that culture for many young people is the country's symbolic hard-hitting liquor, rakı. As such, if you want to pick up a Turkish girl, it might be a good idea to pick up a Turkish girl with her. If you know what I mean. Alright, it's finished. So, what do you think of the drawing?
I think it's maybe mildly offensive. And you said you combined Turkish and Catalan?
Yeah, take a look. Do you like it?
I think it's an abomination.
What? But don't you love the colors? I think the designs unify quite well.
Well, look, a flag is more than just a design. It's a cultural symbol. And I don't want to even begin with the implications of the flag you've just unified.
Come on, don't be so negative. You should never stop dreaming that this could be a true vision of the future.
Oh, no, trust me, a lot of people are going to be really unhappy with what you're saying.
I'm going to call it Kataturkia.
Right, that's enough. I'm shutting you down.